Hello, everyone. If you are watching this, then that means that you are considering schooling your child at home this upcoming school year. This presentation is specifically for those of you that are looking at short-term schooling due to the crisis that we are dealing with. I want to welcome you to my in-home classroom that I use to teach online. My name is Brandy Cottrell. I am a master's degree teacher. I taught in the public schools for 10 years. Then I trained teachers in effective teaching methods. And then after that, I opted to stay home and homeschool my three children. So I have come from both views of public school. Excuse me, public school and homeschooling. And I want to show you how you can mesh these two settings together to effectively school your child at home in the short term. The first thing I want us to discuss is the difference between crisis schooling and homeschooling. Crisis schooling is very different from homeschooling. We When you begin the journey of homeschooling, you're focusing on a big picture. Your curriculum does not have to be aligned with the public school because in the course of your time homeschooling, you are going to cover everything that is necessary. Homeschooling is led by student interest. We often follow a philosophy. We choose a curriculum to match that philosophy, and it kind of becomes your whole lifestyle. On the opposite end of that, we have a lot of families that are considering short-term schooling because of the pandemic. When you are schooling your child short term and you want them to be able to jump back into public school at any point in time, it is very important that you are following their state and grade standards. If they are learning about the history of that state of South Carolina in third grade, and you have them at home for third grade, you want to cover that material because when they return to school, they're going to be tested on that. And so it's very important to follow the curriculum and the guides that are set by the state and implement those standards in your own philosophy. This is not a lifestyle. This is a temporary situation until you are able to return to the normalcy of public school. So, if you are on the fence about what you want to do, I would love for you to stay with me for the next 15 or 20 minutes and let me present to you a very easy and free way to keep your child on that public school curriculum at home for the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. If you love it after that year and you decide you want to do this long term, then I suggest you start researching some bigger aspects of homeschooling. But this presentation is for a short term schooling if you want to keep your child aligned with the standards that are being pushed in the public schools. Now, there are 3 steps to successfully schooling your child at home during a crisis like what we are seeing. The first step is to research and follow those state laws. Secondly, you need to develop some type of yearly plan based on the standards to make sure you're covering them. And third, you're going to go ahead and still become involved in these homeschooling social groups so that your children have the aspect of interactive play and interactive learning. Today, I am skipping to this second step because this is where most of you start to feel unsure and inadequate. This is the meat of what I'm going to talk to you about. I will come back with you in a different session to look at steps 1 and 2. But today I want to focus solely on how can you develop a yearly plan sticking to the state guides and curriculum that you have been given um, for your child to be able to return to school and have covered everything that their peers have covered. The first thing you are going to want to do when you're developing this plan is find the state standards for your state and your grade. These can be tricky to find. You kind of have to go through a lot of avenues to look for them. You're going to want to be searching for public school state standards, Georgia grade 3, or public school state standards, mathematics grade 1, North Carolina. If you need help finding these standards, please email me. My email is easystarthomeschool@gmail.com. You can also go onto my website, which is linked above, and find a way to contact me, and I can just send you a document of the state standards for the particular grade level you're looking for because they can be tricky to find. But once you find them, I want to explain to you how you can develop this plan. If this seems overwhelming to you, continue to listen because I want you to know that I'm here to help you develop this plan as well. I'm not going to give you this information and back out. I'm here. I'm building a community of people that are crisis schooling so that you have support and you have the tools you need to do this successfully. When you are crisis schooling, you want to focus on the 4 main subjects: reading, math, science, social studies. Are you going to add other things into your day? Of course, based on what you like, based on what your child likes. But to maintain the standards in school, you want to focus on those 4 main subjects. I want to start with how you will cover science, social studies, history. These are topics that they're going to be studying in school, obviously. They're typically based around units. So once you find those standards, you're going to kind of write down the general units that your child would cover if they were to be in public school. Again, if you need help finding those topics, please email me. I can get the documents to you. So, once you have found the topics that they're covering in science, social studies, and history, you are not going to focus on buying a curriculum to go along with that. You are going to use books, you are going to use videos, you are going to use discussion, and you are going to use these top 2 resources that are completely free. I am telling you, these resources are incredible, and they are going to give you all of the tools you need to work on the units that your child would be learning in public school and to do it at home. Before I show you how to use those resources, I want to explain to you what I mean by using literature, videos, and discussion. I am going to use 3rd grade South Carolina as an example. 3rd grade South Carolina students, a big portion of their social studies curriculum is based on learning the history of South Carolina. I can find these amazing fictional and non-fictional books about the history of South Carolina. You can find books about key people in South Carolina history. You can find books about the key geographical locations in South Carolina. And you're going to simply read these with your children. By reading these, it is going to develop discussion. It's going to develop different areas that they're interested in learning more about. And that's when you're going to pull in those videos from YouTube, from Netflix, from the library. There are so many resources available. When you open these standards, I I very much encourage you to look at those key topics because the standards can get very specific about what they want you to teach. If you are reading books about this information and exploring these concepts and ideas, your child is going to gain such a bigger understanding of the topics and the units that you're covering. You don't need to go into all of the fine print about what specific things, subcategories or substandards that you need to cover. So, I want you to focus on the big topics. Write down what that big topic is and start gathering materials to introduce that idea to your child. What a fun way to learn, honestly. Go with what your child thinks is cool. Go with what they are interested in. If they find that one of the Native American tribes they have a high interest in, then dive into that. Read more about it. Watch a movie about it together. Um, This is such a fun, interactive way of learning. And really, this is going to be the meat of what you're doing this upcoming year for crisis schooling. So, with these topics, you're going to read books, you're going to pull in videos, discussion. Now, Khan Academy and Easy Peasy are all in one homeschooling, are websites that I am going to show you how to utilize. Khan Academy, many people have heard about this. It is so easy to use, and the resources are limitless. I'm trying to think. Say landforms. We're working on landforms. You're going to go into the search feature and you're going to look up landforms, something simple, the general idea of what you're using. You're going to search for that. It's going to pull up lessons. It's going to pull up videos, plate tectonics, structure of the earth. All of these are free videos that you can watch, and they come in a variety of difficulty levels. Okay. So I highly encourage you to use this as a resource when you are trying to find things to encourage your child. Now, Easy Peasy All-in-One Homeschooling is another website that is fantastic. If you come down here, I'm going to show you how to use both of these websites for math and reading as well. But if you come down here, you're going to find a menu. Looking where it's at. You're going to find a menu and you're going to see courses. I mean, what a wealth of resources, y'all. Do you see this? These are free. Ancient history, early American history. I can pull into this biology, zoology, earth science, and I can find so many things to teach these concepts. Okay? This is free. You do not have to pay for this resource. So, by using your library, by using the internet, you can provide everything your child needs to learn about these science, history, social studies topics. Now, again, I don't want you to become overwhelmed by everything I'm saying. I'm trying to give you encouragement that you can do this. I'm trying to give you a brief introduction into what you are able to do at home and how effective this will be for your child while keeping them safe. Math. Okay, science and social studies, we've got that together. Math, again, this is overwhelming to many people. The standards outline it for you. When you look at the standards, it's going to give you very clear things that your child should be learning that year. Adding and subtracting up to 20 for some of the younger levels. Adding, subtracting, and multiplying fractions for some of the higher levels. Once again, look at the resources that you have available. You can find free worksheets online. You could go onto Amazon and pull up fractions and buy a workbook for $4 or $5 and go through it. And once again, Khan Academy and Easy Peasy have fantastic resources available. I myself can be intimidated by teaching math. So when I move, I can go into Khan Academy right here. Let's go back into that. And I want to find a video that's teaching my child how to multiply fractions because I know how I do it, but maybe that's not working for them. So I'm going to search multiply fractions. You are once again going to find videos. Let's pull that up. Multiplying fractions, intro to multiplying fractions. So many videos. Watch a couple of them. Which one works best? And then look at this. Go over here to exercises. Practice. Come on, y'all. It cannot get easier. Okay. I'm going to click on this. It's going to give me practice problems. This is one of the best resources that is free that I have ever seen for parents that are going to be using this crisis schooling. And many homeschoolers use these two websites for their entire curriculum. So you are getting quality material to teach your child at home. Okay, so you're going to cover math in the same way. You are going to find those standards. You're going to use these resources. YouTube has great videos. You're going to help them teach them, either teach them yourself if you know it, find other teachers online that are showing you for free, and then practice it. So that covers 3 of your 4. The final one is reading. This is a little bit trickier because there are definitely 3 different philosophies to teaching reading. If you have a young child who is not reading yet, this is where you kind of need to look at which philosophy you want to go with. Whole language means I give them books and we read together. And for many children, they will begin reading if you do this. You point along, you follow the words, you're teaching sounds as they're introduced. So that could be a whole language method. Using a loose guide is basically giving you kind of some order and steps to how you're going to teach that phonics. Or you could opt to buy a full language arts or reading curriculum. This is pricey if you purchase one. However, that easy peasy all-in-one homeschooling has those free resources online as well, starting from a preschool level, from the beginning words, rat, sat, cat. It hand walks you through how to teach your child these foundational reading skills. If you have an older student, you're looking at a student who's already an avid reader, they read well, your key is going to be focusing on reading comprehension at this point. Okay, and I will show you how you're going to do that. Let me go back to those 3 steps for those of you who have children that are not reading yet. Okay, whole language, you're going to pull beginner reading books from the library and you're going to read with them as much as possible. If you're not comfortable with that method, you're going to look at some loose guides, okay? Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons is a fantastic resource. Many homeschooling families use it. It is a book on Amazon. I think it's $15 maybe. It's easily a full year guide for you to work with your child. Easy peasy as well, that website that I was just on, I'm going to go back there and show you what this looks like. When I come down to my reading, if you have an early reader, this preschool area is where you're going to look at. Kindergarten, getting ready. Then you can come down here, reading, where am I at here? Reading 1st grade, reading 2nd grade, reading 3rd grade. Y'all, seriously, it cannot get easier. I'm like so excited about these resources. It may not sound like it, but say I have a kindergartner. I do not want to buy a whole curriculum. I don't want to spend that $400, $500. I might only be homeschooling them for 3 months. So I'm going to click into kindergarten, getting ready. Check this out. They use McGuffey readers. McGuffey readers are no longer under copyright, so it is all free. Could I print it off? Yes, I could. I probably wouldn't because that is going to be fairly expensive as well. Day one. Y'all, read lesson one in the book. Click on lesson one, and here it is. I mean, honestly, so simple. I'm going to go through these sounds, I'm going to read these words, and then go from there. If your child loves it, have them practice writing the words, have them write the words in sand. There's so many ways to incorporate more um, practice into using that as a guide, using this easy peasy as a guide to start them on that reading journey. If you look into the first grade, second grade, third grade, you definitely are in more difficult material. But once your child is an avid reader, I recommend a different method. So if you do want to purchase a full reading curriculum, these are some great suggestions. Now, all this entire presentation and all of these websites are on my um, website, links to the websites. So if you are interested in exploring those or you forget the information that I'm telling you, get onto my website, www.easystarthomeschool.com, and look for the tab that says Crisis Schooling. You will find this video. You will find the links to the resources, and you will find some services that I can help you create this curriculum if you need more of a guide than what I'm giving you in this presentation. For those of you who have readers already, you are going to use those science and social studies books to teach reading. You've already pooled literature that you're going to be working with. So you're going to find materials that are on their reading level, have them read that independently, talk about it. You're going to have read alouds that are above their reading level that you are going to read with them and talk about it. And you're going to allow time every day for them to do free reading. Do they have to discuss this? Not necessarily. This is their own personal time to develop that love of reading. Okay, so let's do a quick recap. You're focusing on 4 main subjects. Math, you are finding the standards. You're teaching it via free online resources and workbooks that you maybe have purchased. Reading, if they are new readers, you're going to want to get some type of phonics and sight word instruction, free or a purchase. If they are already competent readers, you are then going to incorporate that reading into the literature that you've already pooled for your science and social studies units, as well as there are book lists after book lists after book lists of great literature for children on every reading level. And you are going to read, 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 and read. That is how we learn. That's how you're teaching your child how to learn about anything that they're interested in. And you're doing it using those standards so that when they are headed back into school, they're ready. Now, on my website, you can also find how I'm available to support you. I am more than happy to email you back and forth freely with any questions you have, any resources you are looking for. So please go to my website and send me an email. Do not feel alone in what you are doing. I will help you in any way that I can. If you feel a little overwhelmed by the idea of actually creating that guide, I am sharing yearly guides with families that are interested in that. So what I'm doing in that is you would receive a table that has the 4 main subjects, and it has the main topics that you would be learning or that you would be teaching every month, and then general resources that you want to use to teach those. I'm also available for monthly support and weekly support for those of you that need a more detailed lesson plan. Each of these support plans I will go into more detail on tomorrow. Well, in my next video, I'm going to record it tomorrow, but in my next video, I will show you more specifically how I can support you if you want that support with specific documents to guide you through this time that you're homeschooling. But for right now, I hope that this presentation has helped you feel confident that you can do this. If you have any questions about what I have explained, please go to my website or email me. As I said, the links and resources that I've discussed are available on my website for free. This video is on my website, and you can email me at any time for support. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you're walking away from this video thinking about how you can plan this year, how you can be successful. You were made to teach your children. You've taught them for so many years already, just never in a formal setting. So this is something you can do, I promise. Join me in my next video where I'm going to talk about the 2 other elements to successful crisis schooling, and I will also share with you some ways that I can support you. I hope you have a fantastic day and reach out to me. I'll see y'all later. Bye.